Hi, this is Dena, your sister in purpose, and I wanted to sit and spend some time with you and talk about divine downloads, what I call divine downloads. And just to preface that with just a confession that I noticed that sometimes we may use terms that are very familiar with us, but there's not a consistent definition or interpretation or meaning. And so when we're talking about key terms that I'm using around the purpose path, I just want to be really clear about my experience around that, because the beauty of it is that even though you may or may not use divine download, and by the way, I've heard lots of people use that. It blows me away because I thought that was just like a us thing, but then I found out it's like a we thing, and it just has me totally jazzed. But it could be something that is an experience that's very familiar to you, but you're just calling it something else. So let's just unpack this and just see. And then please note below if it is in fact something that you call something differently, just so that we can all learn and grow together. How about that? Let's just do that. All right. So divine downloads are when I get information or just a sense of knowing that comes from a source greater than I. Now, I call that God. You may call that the divine, the creator, the I am, the all-knowing. I think we're all talking about the same thing. Okay? And the way that happens, for me, it's a sense of knowing. So I don't necessarily hear a voice that says, Dena, do this. I just get a sense of knowing that it's not me that's saying, do this, look at this, consider that, whatever. And let me not get ahead of myself. I'm sorry, I'm excited. So that's how it happens for me. Now with other people, some people hear divine downloads. Some people dream divine downloads. They'll go to sleep with a sincere ask, and they'll get an answer to their sincere ask in their dream, and then they'll jot it down and take action on it, when they awaken. Other people see visions. They see stuff. Other people hear stuff. Other people can feel stuff. They can feel it. They just have a feeling. So it's all these different ways that people can get divine downloads. Some people call them nudges. Like, I got a nudge to do this or do that. Or I had an idea, or I had a feeling, or something told me. All of those, that's divine download language. But for me, because I'm really intentional, about that, that's a languaging around that really is authentic to me, that works for me. So when I'm talking about those divine downloads, I like to write it down in the moment, because for me, I could, I don't know if it's indicative of my attention span or just my life or what's going on, but I got to write it down. And then, I love writing stuff down anyway. I love writing it down. I love having a record. Again, that's the, resultant in me, but I do. I like to have a record. I like to write it down. I like to group things together and see where themes emerge. I love it. So I keep a pen and paper by my bed, because also pay attention to the pattern around timing for your divine downloads. So I noticed that I tend to have divine downloads in twilight hours. So right when I'm falling off to sleep, or at the 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, the pre-dawn hours, I tend to have them. And I've just learned to just be present, just wake up, be present, write it down, and then I can go back to sleep. Because if I try to do something else, then I'm beating myself up because I wasn't present to it. What a gift, I'm not present. And then, that whole thing. Or It's the only thing that works is for me to surrender to that moment and just say that's the most important thing that's happening right now. And I'm energized. And to be honest with you, I get energized by my divine downloads. I really do. And so even when I have those pre-done divine download experiences, I get just charged. It sparks me. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that I can hardly contain myself. So, and then I also sometimes do voice recordings because, I mean, you don't know when they're gonna, you may have a pattern around that, but when it comes, it's when it comes. It's just like, hey, when, if you have, a loved one come over and they didn't call first and you're about to go get in the tub and you have a towel on, what are you going to do? You're going to throw something on and you're going to welcome them into your home and you're going to, play it by ear. So these are just like friends. So when this friend comes with this great news, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to welcome it because, just if you think about the law of attraction, so I give gratitude for it. And I just welcome, more times. And what I'm finding now is that my life, my pattern is being disrupted around my divine spark downloads rather. And I could have them any time of the day. So I've just learned to just keep stuff. If I'm working from home, I just keep stuff in every room. I keep my phone with me so I can use my notepad in my phone. Just so I can, write it down because they're coming so quickly now. They're coming quickly. And so the last thing that I want to say about Divine Spark downloads, I must really be thinking about Divine Spark right now. But the last thing I want to say about Divine Downloads is that just the gratitude cycle. I mean, just goes without saying. Just to be in deep gratitude about what comes through. Whether there is an immediate result or whether just the fact that you're opening your awareness to the downloads and whatever that means for you, just give thanks. Just give thanks. And they'll come, stronger and they'll come more frequently. They come with greater clarity of understanding, I think. So it's not necessarily the speed and the volume, but it's the clarity and the understanding. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And another thing that I'll add too is that sometimes it's just good just to be out in nature. Sometimes it's just be good to be out in nature. Because like when I'm doing yard work, and I don't know whether it's just the being outside and getting all that good vitamin D, or I think just being in the sun is something that really motivates me and makes me feel connected. So perhaps part of the process could be just being in a space that yields connectivity for you, whatever that looks like. Some people like to be on the water or near the water. And yeah, so I get them there too. And I just wonder if I'm using the equipment and it's like a monotonous kind of thing with the, drumming, the sound of the equipment that I'm using and the consistent activity or whatever, if that just helps to silence my busy mind and make my downloads more accessible to me. I don't know if that's a part of it, but outside, just being outside and just working outside is another thing too. So I hope that helps. I hope that that we see the commonality in our languaging, even if we may not use the same words, that it's the experiences, which also makes it really important for us to share our stories. And then when we share our stories, just to unchunk them and unpack them. And take some of our languaging, kind of break it up a little bit, so that our stories are more palatable and more digestible by more people. And I think that when we do that, we'll find that we have more in common than we may have originally considered. So that's it for Divine Downloads, and I hope this was helpful and impactful and valuable. Until next time, this is Dena, your sister in purpose, and we'll talk soon.